GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good evening, I'm Vivian Castellanos. Tonight we'll break down the NYPD's sweep of Upper Manhattan after the subway crowd, a heavy traffic outlook with multiple lane closures, and a pop-up bagel and Bumble BFF takeover downtown. Over to you, Andre.
The pop-up bagels and Bumble BFF Saturday takeover launches at Union Square Green Market, featuring 5 local bagel bakeries and speed dating-style meetups for new friends.
The event runs from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m., with a tasting passport that awards a stamp for each bagel sampled and a chance to win a free subscription to Bumble BFF.
Organizers note that a local jazz trio will perform acoustic sets between 12 and 1 p.m., while a photo booth captures participants with custom Bagel Buddy props.
Lots to get to, let's begin, Vivian says, as we transition from the bagel pop-up excitement into today's news coverage for all New Yorkers listening. Here are our top stories. The NYPD announced a sweeping police presence in Upper Manhattan following last Sunday's disruptive crowd at Dyckman Street subway, which caused hundreds of thousands of dollars in property and vehicle damage. Priya Raghunathan has the full story.
Police are rolling out a heavy presence around the Dyckman Street station after last Sunday's chaotic gathering left hundreds of thousands of dollars in property and vehicle damage. Officers will be stationed at the entrances, patrol the surrounding streets, and monitor the platforms throughout the day, officials said. The sweep is aimed at deterring a repeat of the large crowd that swelled the station and spilled onto nearby avenues. City leaders emphasized that the deployment will include both uniformed patrols and plainclothes units working in coordination with transit staff. The plan comes as part of a broader effort to keep the Upper Manhattan transit hub orderly and safe. Priya Raghunathan, GMNA News, Dyckman.
Police are responding to reports of a shooting that is set to occur near Central Park on the Upper West Side later today. Officers say an argument among a crew of construction workers escalated, and a suspect is expected to draw a firearm and discharge 3 rounds at 2 workers. The confrontation reportedly began as a verbal dispute before turning physical, prompting the suspect to pull a gun. NYPD units are converging on the scene, and detectives are preparing to interview witnesses and collect evidence. Emergency medical services are on standby to treat any injuries, and a precinct spokesperson indicated that an investigation will focus on identifying the shooter and determining motive. Residents in the nearby blocks have been urged to avoid the area while officers secure the perimeter. The incident underscores the potential for workplace disputes to turn violent in crowded city neighborhoods.
Today, the New York City Health Department announced 2 additional deaths tied to the Legionnaire's disease cluster on the Upper East Side. The victims bring the death toll to a total that city officials say continues to rise as the outbreak remains active. Health officials have been tracking a series of cases that began earlier this summer, with dozens of residents experiencing severe respiratory illness. The department urged anyone with lingering symptoms such as fever, cough, or shortness of breath to seek medical attention promptly. Investigators are still working to identify the source of the bacterial contamination, which they suspect may be linked to building water systems. The city has deployed extra testing teams and is coordinating with local hospitals to monitor new cases as the situation develops. Officials also announced increased inspections of cooling towers throughout Manhattan to prevent further spread.
Brooklyn lawmakers joined privacy advocates outside Moynihan Train Hall on August 14th. Demanding an end to facial recognition scanning at Madison Square Garden and backing council member Shahana Hanif's proposed ban. Marisol Furrer has the full story.
Outside Moynihan Train Hall, a crowd of privacy advocates, local lawmakers and artists gathered on August 14, 2026. They held signs and shouted in unison, demanding an end to facial recognition scans at Madison Square Garden. Council member Shahana Hanif's bill would bar biometric surveillance in public venues. Speakers warned the entry scan system captures images of every patron, creating a permanent data trail. The hall sits directly across from Madison Square Garden, a visual reminder of the surveillance they oppose. Artists raised a chant that echoed through the vaulted concourse as commuters paused to listen. City officials have faced mounting pressure from groups urging the New York City Council to tighten rules on biometric data collection in accommodations. Demonstrators pressed council to act now. Marisol Furrer, GMNA News, Moynihan.
Congressional Representatives Richie Torres and George Latimer introduced a bill Thursday after touring the Delaney Hall ICE Detention Center in Newark. The legislation would compel United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement to alert families whenever a detainee dies, is hospitalized, or faces a medical emergency while in custody. Lawmakers said the measure aims to close a long-standing communication gap that leaves relatives in the dark during critical moments. The proposal follows concerns raised during the visit, where officials observed families struggling to obtain timely information. If passed, ICE would be required to issue written notice within a reasonable time and provide details about the incident and any follow-up care. The bill now heads to committee, where supporters hope it will set a new standard for transparency in immigration detention. Advocates argue it could also improve oversight of health protocols inside detention facilities. Later, we'll explore how NYC is expanding buyout outreach for flood-prone Queens homeowners, and what that means for residents. We will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes, the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Welcome back. The city is expanding outreach to homeowners in flood-prone Queens neighborhoods, including Hollies, Springfield Gardens, and Jamaica, as part of the Resilient Acquisitions Program. Officials are contacting owners to assess interest in voluntary buyouts, aiming to reduce flood risk where mitigation infrastructure is limited. The effort is part of a broader climate adaptation strategy rolled out this summer. The Department of Housing Preservation and Development is working with the Office of Resiliency and Sustainability to identify properties at highest risk. The program offers fair market compensation, relocation assistance, and the promise of open space that can absorb stormwater and protect nearby streets. Residents who receive a letter can schedule a meeting with city representatives to discuss terms. City officials say each successful buyout could remove thousands of gallons of runoff during a heavy rain event, and the outreach will continue through the remainder of the season as response rates are tracked.
New York City reading scores have plunged this year, prompting education experts and state officials to question whether the statewide assessment is flawed. The sharp decline follows last year's gains. Priya Raghunathan has the full story.
Reading scores across New York City have nosedived this year, erasing the gains recorded just a year earlier. The New York State Education Department reported that the latest administration of the state reading assessment showed a drop of several points citywide. Education specialists are now examining whether the test design contributed to the slump, pointing to unusually large swings that differ from previous years. The City Department of Education has not yet offered a detailed explanation, but officials say they are reviewing the data with state analysts. Critics argue that a flawed instrument could mask actual student progress, while others caution against jumping to conclusions before a full statistical review. The debate is expected to continue as policymakers consider possible adjustments to future testing cycles. Priya Raghunathan, GMNA News, Manhattan.
City officials announced yesterday that nearly 2,000 New York City homeowners have been cleared of the newly proposed pied-à-terre tax after the administration recognized that their primary residences were mistakenly flagged as secondary homes. The Mamdani administration had earlier mailed warning letters to 4,290 owners, warning them of potential tax liability. After a review, the city confirmed that the flagged properties were in fact primary dwellings, and the tax will not be assessed on those households. The The reversal removes any pending assessments and refunds any collected fees. Officials said the error stemmed from a data matching issue in the tax targeting system. The clarification aims to restore confidence in the city's revenue-raising measures while ensuring that only true secondary residences remain subject to the levy. The city also pledged to refine its data verification process to prevent similar mistakes in future tax initiatives.
Heat has turned Union Square subway station into the hottest stop in the system, leaving commuters sweltering in what riders are calling a blast furnace. Temperatures inside the underground hub have spiked far beyond normal levels, prompting complaints from passengers who say the air feels like a sauna. The station, a major transfer point for several lines in Manhattan, remains packed with riders despite the oppressive heat, and staff are circulating fans and water stations in an effort to provide relief. MTA officials acknowledge the problem and say they are monitoring conditions, but a definitive solution has not yet been implemented. As the heat persists into Saturday, commuters are urged to stay hydrated and consider alternative routes when possible. The station serves the 4, 5, 6, L, N, Q, and R lines, and officials say they are inspecting ventilation and equipment to prevent outages.
Staten Island's long-used borough flag received official city certification after council member Frank Morano secured council approval on August 13, 2026, granting formal status to a design displayed for over a decade. Raphael Brannigan has the full story.
On August 13, 2026, the Staten Island Borough flag received official city certification after council member Frank Morano secured passage of a council bill. For more than 10 years, the design, showcasing Henry Hudson's ship, Oystermen at Work, and a helmeted woman wielding a sword and shield, had fluttered informally at City Hall and Borough Hall. The new legislation grants the emblem formal status, ending its unofficial standing. Officials praised the move as a recognition of the island's maritime heritage and community identity. The flag will now appear on all city-issued materials and at civic events across the borough. A ceremony at St. George's waterfront unfurled the newly certified banner beside the Staten Island Ferry Terminal, with residents gathering to celebrate. Raphael Brannigan, GMNA News, Staten Island.
Let's get a look at your evening forecast with our meteorologist coming up now.
A relentless high-pressure ridge, steered by a fast northwest jet, locks in clear, calm evening skies. On this date, the city's all-time heat peak sits at 84 degrees, a mark set during the lingering 2020 heat wave. The bitter low is 53 degrees, recorded in a sharp 2019 early fall cold snap that knocked the thermometer down unexpectedly. By contrast, the climatological average high hovers around 80 degrees and the average low near 66, so today's reading sits squarely within the normal range. Those extremes remind us how quickly the high-pressure dome can swing from sweltering to frigid when the jet stream dips. The live radar sits dark across the metropolitan area, no echoes of rain or snow. A broad high-pressure ridge blankets the region, suppressing lift and keeping the air stable. With the fast northwest jet aloft, any moisture would be sheared eastward before reaching us. Expect the clear pattern to linger for the next several hours, clearing the way for tonight's calm. At 6 p.m., the city basks in 82 degrees under a clear sky, humidity sitting at 45%, and a barely perceptible southerly breeze of 2 miles per hour. A stubborn high-pressure ridge holds firm, preventing any ascent of moist air and locking in the sunshine. Overhead, a powerful northwest jet streak streams at 94 miles per hour, venting any lingering disturbances far to the east. The UV index reads 7, reflecting the strong solar angle despite the late hour. Winds will gust up to 10 miles per hour from the south later this evening, offering a mild breeze without feeling chill. No weather alerts are active, so residents can enjoy the night unimpeded. Turning now to the 5-day outlook. Tomorrow, Sunday, the high will climb to 82 degrees while lows dip to 66, but an overcast veil brings a 75% chance of rain, so showers are likely in the afternoon. Monday follows with a high of 86 and a low of 70, clear skies dominating, yet a 60% rain probability hints at isolated storms lingering into the evening. Tuesday steadies at 84 to 70, mostly clear and dry, giving the city a brief respite. Wednesday repeats the 86 to 70 trend, again mainly clear, though the lingering jet may stir a stray shower late in the day. Thursday cools to 82 with lows around 66, overcast conditions, and a 25% rain chance rounding out the workweek. Overall, the pattern swings between brief rain bursts and extended sunshine as the high-pressure ridge slowly drifts north. And that's your weather. Remember, the local sunset is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Amazon Music or wherever you get your podcasts.
Heavy traffic from construction lane closures, tonight's pop-up bagels and Bumble BFF takeover, plus the Mets lineup preview. Stay tuned, we will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
State Island-bound traffic on the Brooklyn-Queens Expressway is snarled as a lane closes between the Brooklyn Bridge and Columbia Heights. Backup stretch from downtown Brooklyn into Greenpoint, adding 15 to 20 minutes. Atlantic Avenue loses a lane between Boerum Place and Smith Street for the borough-based jail project, slowing eastbound flow toward downtown Brooklyn. The Metropolitan Avenue Bridge over Newton Creek remains under maintenance, cutting capacity and creating queues. Belt Parkway work over 26th Avenue also removes a lane, so drivers to Rockaways should allow time. Other routes are clear. On transit, 2 and 3 lines are out of service between Manhattan and Brooklyn tonight through Sunday, forcing riders to transfer at Atlantic Avenue Barclays Center. The F, G, and R will skip several stops after midnight, and the L will not run between Broadway Junction and Canarsie Rockaway Parkway all weekend. Long Island Railroad schedules on the Hempstead, Huntington, and Ronkonkoma branches are shifted, with trains Saturday and Sunday. Plan accordingly.
First up, the charity coaster Thin hits Coney Island this weekend, sending riders racing across Luna Park's 8 coasters while every ticket funds local nonprofits. Thrill seekers get a cause and the city a splash of charity. If you prefer water over steel, free kayaking on the Gowanus Canal runs this weekend in Brooklyn. No experience needed, just show up, paddle the historic waterway and watch the skyline roll by, a cool way to beat the summer heat. You might even spot a passing ferry as you glide. Right now on the streets, the pop-up Bagels and Bumble BFF Saturday Takeover is serving free bagels, coffee and matcha across the borough, plus creator-led meetups for anyone looking to make a new connection. It's a quick way to grab breakfast and meet a fellow New Yorker. And for a taste of Italy tonight, a brand new Italian bar aperitivo opened in the East Village, offering small plates and a relaxed vibe for after-work unwinding. The menu pairs classic antipasti with inventive cocktails, perfect for a low-key evening. And now here's Desmond with sports.
Summer heat fuels New York's sports slate, from baseball lineups to Giants at preseason sparks. The Mets will start Sean Manaea against the Nationals, fielding Francisco Lindor at shortstop and Bo Bichette at third. A.J. Ewing opens in center while Jared Young patrols first. The Nationals answer with Dylan Cruz in right and right-hander Andres on the mound, a left-right starter duel. Cam Schlittler takes the ball for New York, promising another low-scoring effort against Toronto's Braden Fisher. Schlittler's command has kept the Yankees' run totals down, and his ability to induce ground balls will be key as the club looks to tighten a bullpen that has struggled to protect slim leads. Jackson Dart cleared the concussion protocol and immediately connected on a surprise touchdown against Minnesota, showing the Giants that his health isn't a lingering concern. The quick strike after a hard hit from Jay Ward gives Dart momentum in the preseason battle for the starting quarterback slot. At halftime, the Giants lead 10-3. Buoyed by a 46-yard field goal from Ben Sauls and Odell Beckham's first catch of the year. A short run touchdown from Jackson Dart to Cam Scatibo caps a balanced first half, suggesting the offense is clicking ahead of the regular season. A new Yankees batting order splits, lineup celebrates past power, highlighting Didi Gregorius's 2018 Grand Slam alongside Aaron Judge, Glaber Torres, and Giancarlo Stanton. While the nostalgic roster reminds fans of depth, the current season's early struggles from Trent Grisham underscore the need to adapt those historic combos. Roderick Arias, the former $4 million signing bonus prospect, finally shows signs of steadiness after wrist and thumb setbacks derailed his first 2 seasons. If his recent swing adjustments stick, Arias could re-enter the Yankees' depth chart as a viable middle infield option this fall. Stay tuned, the city's games keep writing their own stories.
Thanks, Desmond. Legora, the AI startup now calling Manhattan home, just closed a $30 million funding round and is moving its headquarters from Israel to the Flatiron District. The company builds intelligent agents that mimic the decision-making patterns of top-performing employees in heavily regulated sectors, giving firms a safe way to scale expertise. With the new capital, Legora will hire 40 new staff and pour $87.5 million into research and development over the next few years. The expansion means more high-tech jobs in a neighborhood already buzzing with innovation, and it adds a homegrown flavor to New York's growing AI ecosystem. In a city that thrives on ideas, Legora's arrival is a reminder that the future of work is being built right here. Next, lawmakers are pushing insurance coverage for egg freezing after AOC's decision. Find out what that could mean. We will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Welcome back. State legislators introduced a bill mandating insurance coverage for egg freezing after Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez announced she is undergoing the procedure, aiming to offset high costs for New Yorkers. Raphael Brannigan has the full story.
In Albany today, state lawmakers are moving a bill that would force insurers to cover egg freezing treatments after Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez announced she's undergoing the procedure. The proposal, introduced in the state Senate, would require health plans to pay for the costly fertility service, which can run into tens of thousands of dollars. Lawmakers say the mandate aims to offset the financial burden for women who choose to preserve their fertility. The measure is part of a broader effort in the Capitol to expand reproductive health coverage. If passed, insurers would be obligated to include egg freezing in their benefit packages, aligning the service with other medically necessary procedures. Raphael Brannigan, GMNA News, Albany.
Union leaders say they may block the city's reading curriculum overhaul after recent test scores fell, demanding changes before supporting the plan. Dominic Salerno has the full story.
The United Federation of Teachers says it could block the city's planned overhaul of the reading curriculum unless the Department of Education makes further reforms. Union President Michael Mulgrew warned that the plan, which the city rolled out 3 years ago with union backing, will face opposition after recent standardized reading scores fell sharply. Officials had hoped the revamp would lift performance, but the latest data shows a downward trend, prompting the union to demand additional safeguards for teachers and students. City leaders are now in talks with the union to address the concerns, while schools await clarification on whether the new materials will be implemented as scheduled. Dominic Salerno, GMNA News, New York City.
Thank you, New York City, for watching the local sunset. Tonight's look at the Union Square subway heat reminded us how vital comfort is for our riders. Stay tuned tomorrow for more in-depth coverage of the stories that shape our neighborhoods. I'm Vivian Castellanos, signing off.